Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like just have it and being a ghost and like easily be like fuck with somebody is like, look at it, she just moved something over there. Just cut her head off.
Yeah.
It's better than
Oh
the burning
man.
steak.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, it's your boy Dustin from the Flying Chariots, the Rise podcast. And I got a special guest today. We got Leanne, all the way from the UK, and she's a ghost hunter. And we haven't had any ghost hunters on here in a while. So I'm very, very excited to have her on. And yeah, she's just going to talk about how she got into the field. So, Leanne, how about you just tell us where you grew up and how you got into the field?
Hi. Yeah. I guess like a lot of people involved in the paranormal, that I got interested in the paranormal as a child because my dad would let me watch like very scary age inappropriate films. Kind of like I remember being like 9 years old watching like Bad Taste, Nightmare on Elm Street,
Mm.
it all of that stuff. Like way too young, but it kind of created a bit of a fascination in like horror films, and then obviously you start getting down into like poltergeists and stuff, and yeah, I've just always been very fascinated by the unknown. What is a ghost, what's poltergeist, all that type of stuff. And then about 10 years ago, I joined a local paranormal team who run events. So they hire haunted locations, sell tickets to members of the public, and then give them a good night, I guess. They have all the gadgets and stuff and, just that type of thing. So I started working for them and got to visit some amazing locations, haunted prisons, old stately homes, just hospitals, everything, just like loads of fascinating places. And then about, I'm trying to think, 2019, so yeah, 5 years ago, a friend in the paranormal, Paul, messaged me and was like, I'm thinking of setting up a paranormal charity. So I was like, yeah, sounds great, let's do it. So that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years. So I'm vice chair of the UK Paranormal Society. And a lot of people are like, how can you have a paranormal charity? Like, how does that work? So I think our goal is to basically help members of the public and very specifically heritage locations, because without the heritage locations, we wouldn't have these places to investigate. So our aim is to help, members of the public and heritage locations um, from harm. So we want to, stop harm to them through either misinformation, malpractice, or exploitation. And we do that by releasing guides, advice, how to protect yourself as a member of the public if you want to go and visit a psychic or a medium, what to look out for. If you want to go on your first paranormal investigation, how to protect yourself if you're going, on your own to a public event, things like that, really. And also, we have guides for heritage locations. So if they are new to the paranormal, we can give them advice on, how to, how to look after themselves, because the paranormal might not be right for every venue. If, say, their day to day running is working with kids or vulnerable people, having an association with the paranormal could be detrimental to their day to day business. So we're not here to say, like, yeah, go on, open your doors, we want to investigate. We're here to give very impartial advice to help protect them. So that's what we've been doing.
Wow. That is really, really cool. And you know what? Like UK is just rich with like the paranormal, especially ghosts, because they have
Yeah.
tons of stories. And I can imagine like where the Jack the Ripper used to hang out. That area
Yeah.
must be really haunted in a sense, or like
Yeah.
where the Elephant Man was, where he grew up. I can imagine what sad ghost thing is hanging around there. You know what I'm saying? That poor guy.
I used to do tours at the Ancient Ram Inn. Have you heard of
Mhm.
the Ancient Ram Inn?
No.
So it's a building that was said. So this is the history that the owner has given me. So the building was built in 1145,
Oh,
so ridiculously old, and
yeah.
it is said to be built on top of a pagan burial ground.
Oh shit.
And it's just full of history. It was connected to the local church, St. Mary's Church. Um, it's said to be haunted by an incubus and a succubus. There's apparently a woman or uh, a witch named Elspeth that haunts the building. She was falsely accused as being a witch in the 1600s and was murdered.
Huh.
So she's said to haunt one of the rooms. You've got bishops there. You've got it's a fantastic historical building. But yeah, like 1145, like
That's
that's
old as
old.
shit.
Yeah. So it's cool.
That is really cool. And yeah, the graveyards there are very
Yeah.
again, you guys are just filled with the cryptics, you know, like again, we have the Loch Ness monster and
Yeah.
we have the dog men or the werewolves there,
Yeah.
right? Oh god.
And we've we've apparently got some sightings of Bigfoot
Yeah, that's
in
right.
Wales. I think it's Wales. Yeah. So it's we've got everything here.
Yeah. Well, again, you're rich with the crop circles there too. Again,
Yes.
I can't I can't go by the idea of these two old men back in the 50s were doing this with a board. And of course they could just do it with a board. But you know, if you go to
Yeah.
some of these real cases, there's these like blowouts and it
Mm.
folds, you know what I'm saying? Like something
Yeah.
just came and
Yeah. It's not like it's not. I remember watching a documentary and it was like the struct it hasn't snapped. It's not
no,
snapped. Like it's still it's been bent some way. So it's yeah. I think it's not in a lot of the cases. It's not just man-made. There's definitely something else.
right.
Definitely.
And they're saying that sometimes they're like orbs that just like comes around the crop
Yeah.
field and it just pops up and then it's
Yeah.
again, very mysterious and makes you wonder. Again, it's
Yeah.
just surrounded by water too. So I think a lot of the shit is coming out. I mean, especially extraterrestrial shit is coming out of the water.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I've started to sway towards is the fact that they're not coming from another planet, that they're actually subterranean, if that's the right word. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's a news report here in the United States that there's like a Harvard study saying that aliens are living amongst us. Well, of course,
Mm,
there's been a theory, you know, through the UFO crowd for the longest time that of course they've been amongst. But
mm,
again, hearing that like science, you know, students are taking this seriously, it's very interesting.
yeah.
But yeah, let's get back to the ghost. When was your very first ghost experience? Was it personal? Was it at home? Did you have your first like, or did you have to go out in the field to get your first
Yeah.
feel for the paranormal?
Yeah. So I never experienced anything as a kid. Like I speak to a lot of people in the field and they're like, oh, I grew up in a haunted house. I saw a ghost at the foot of my bed when I was 5, like that's what drew me to the paranormal.
Right.
I I never saw anything paranormal until I started purposely going on these events, going to these locations. One of the strangest things I've experienced was at a place called 30 East Drive. It's a very unassuming, semi-detached home in Yorkshire. From the outside, it doesn't look like anything special. It's just a small house. But when you go in, um, it's the only way I could describe it was that the air feels thick. It feels heavy. It feels oppressive. And we went to 30's Drive, me and my teammate Becky. We were setting up for the guests that were coming that evening. This was in, I think, August time. We got there at about 7 p.m. So it was still light outside, quite sunny. I was getting all the equipment out of the boxes and stuff, putting the torches down, the K2 meters, all that type of thing. And about, I would say, about a meter away from me, I saw a solid ball of light just kind of appear out of nowhere and then just and fly off and disappear. It was solid. It was as if somebody held like a fairy light off of a Christmas tree and just went in front of my face. So I was just like, what? Like, so straight away, I'm trying to be rational, thinking like, is there any lights reflecting off of anything? Could a car have driven by? But then I was like, well, no, it's light outside. A car wouldn't have its headlights on, and it was, yeah, it was. I think then I was like, wow, I've actually seen a physical orb, like a spirit light or whatever you want to, call it. So that was pretty cool. But I've never seen anything like that since. So again, trying to think rational, thinking like, oh no, is there something wrong with my eyesight? Like, do
Sure.
I need to go to the opticians? Like, what's going on? But I haven't seen it since. Um, Also, it's a very long story, so I'll cut it short. But on another event, I saw a female guest become, I think the term that the psychic medium on the night said was overshadowed. So she was feeling oppressed all night. Whenever this nasty male spirit was around, we would smell feces. And that's the nicest way we could describe this smell. It was very strong and it wasn't someone passing wind. It was a very distinct, rotting, horrible smell. And we were in a room doing an Ouija board, and this female guest was sat at the Ouija board, and all of a sudden, this smell came back into this room again. So another guest that was stood behind me was like, "Oi, shitty man, is that you again?" Like that. And then obviously everyone started laughing because it was so funny. And then while everyone's laughing, this woman that was feeling oppressed all night was sat at the Ouija board, and all of a sudden she just looked up at me and her face had changed. She suddenly went from like a woman in her 30s to a man in his like 90s. He looked like the painting from Ghostbusters. It was that scowl, and her eyes just pierced through me, and I was like, like it felt like she was staring at me for like a minute, but it was probably only like 5 seconds. And I was stood next to two other teammates at the time, and I grabbed their arm, and they were like, "Do you see her face? Do you see her face?" And I was like, "Yes, I see her face." So the three of us had all witnessed this woman's face physically change.
Wow.
That was terrifying. And unfortunately, that has been the peak of my entire investigative journey because nothing has topped that. Just seeing someone's face physically change, which is completely impossible to a man, like, yeah, that was terrifying. But I've yet to see an actual, I guess, a full-bodied apparition. Haven't
Okay.
experienced that yet. Haven't
Sure.
seen a ghost,
Sure.
but I've had experiences that I can't explain.
That is still very intense. Again, what was the very first investigation with your team that you met up with?
That was 30 East Drive.
Oh, that was it? Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah, no. That was so the first event I went on with the team was 30 East Drive. So
Okay.
yeah, so it was only, I think it was me, Becky, and another guy. And they were like, "Whoa, you've been thrown in the deep end, this being your first event. Apparently there's a really horrible spirit here." And I was secretly shitting it. Like, not gonna lie, like I was there trying to be all brave, like, "Oh yeah, whatever." But deep down, I was like, this is where I get possessed. This is where I was panicking. But the longer I've been doing it, the more I kind of start to realize that those horror movie experiences, those paranormal television experiences don't happen that often. So really, you've just got to go into the experience open-minded, you know, just ready to kind of experience something. And if nothing happens, you still have a good night because you're with friends. It's just
Exactly.
don't expect too much because I think that's when you get disappointed.
Sure. And I like how we like get into this field and like go investigate out into the field, and we have all these people who kind of like live vicariously through us. It's kind of like it's kind of neat the the where we kind of like steer our destiny through our hobbies.
Yeah.
Look at it for yourself too. I think you're meeting all these people who want to like do this stuff with you. And was it this recently you got recognized for something? And uh what was it? Did you go on an investigation recently too? I thought I saw something
Uh,
on Facebook.
I went to the nunnery on Saturday
Okay.
night, so a
Okay.
few nights back, and
Yeah. How was that?
I didn't. It was a good night, but there was a speaker there
Uh,
called Richard Felix. So he's quite a well-known historian because he used to work on Most Haunted. Have
okay.
you ever seen Most Haunted?
No.
So Most Haunted was one of the original like ghost hunting TV shows. So it came
Oh,
out in
okay.
2002 in the UK, and it really did set the whole format and the way that paranormal TV is. So,
Hmm,
you know, Richard Felix was the historian, which would go around and give the history of the location and stuff before they would go and investigate. So he was giving a talk at the nunnery on Saturday night, and he was fascinating. He was really, really interesting, and I could have listened to him talk for hours. But he just gave a little kind of speech at the beginning of the night, a little bit of a talk about, what is a ghost? What does the word ghost really mean and stuff? So that was fun.
sure.
So no, I took a picture with him. Unfortunately, he wasn't taking a picture with me. Maybe one day.
No, again, I love how like there's just so many theories when it comes to the paranormal and ghost and all that, because I think it's somewhat all connected, even with ETs.
Yeah.
Maybe there's that main interest why they're here, because they see that or us humans have souls, or
Hmm.
they don't, and they find that very intriguing, that maybe souls kind of recycle themselves on Earth, and they
Yeah.
find, whoa, that's amazing, coming from an outside source.
Yeah.
Finding these humans that have these souls that kind of reincarnate or whatever the hell. Or again, these are all theories. And do you have your own theories too of like why they linger around, or some people say
Yeah.
they kind of want to watch their loved ones grow up, or they're jealous of life and being alive and wish they were alive, so they just kind of
Yeah.
stick around and
Do you know what? I don't know. There's so like so like Richard Felix on Saturday night did, say, there's two types of ghosts. There's the ghosts that are the intelligent kind, which interact with us, which are the ones that are flickering the lights and knocking when we're asking to, show yourself kind of thing. They're the intelligent spirits that are choosing to either stay behind or, don't realize that they've passed on or are
sure,
here because they've had unfinished business. They're the ones that you can connect with. And then you've obviously got the residual hauntings, which links into like stone tape theory and that the buildings are holding memories. So that's why you will see only the top half of a ghost because 300 years ago, the flooring was actually lower than it is now. So
oh
you're
sure,
only because they're just walking about their business on their
ah
timeline, and
sure,
our current timeline has changed, but theirs hasn't. So so that's why you only see sometimes half of a ghost, the top, the bottom, or whatever. But I just recently purchased a book called The Vertical Plane by Ken Webster, and that talks about a man in the 80s who has a word processor. So it's like pre like computers what we have nowadays. It's very basic. You could just type out a few things, whatever. And he's in this old house and he starts to receive documents in his computer written in old English. So this happened in England. I believe it was up in Liverpool, so quite north of England. And he was also experiencing paranormal activity in his home. He would have footprints appearing on the wall and would be hearing and seeing things. And he would receive messages in his word processor from a man named Jacob from the 1500s. And
wow,
this man is speaking in Old English, like basically asking him, "Who are you and why are you in my house?" So then this guy, Ken, writes back to Jacob and, blah 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 blah, and then they basically have a relationship where they are haunting each other's timeline. And this is a true story.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's portrayed as true. It's like the guy Ken is saying this happened kind of thing.
Sure. Sure.
But that's what I find fascinating is that, instead of the whole ghosts and spirits are, you know, the residual energy of loved ones, actually in this case, it's people from different timelines. So time isn't linear, they are overlapping in some way.
Sure.
So that's another theory for what a ghost could be. It could just be someone from a different timeline.
Wow. Hmm. That is very, very
Yeah.
interesting. Again, like there's just so many theories, and I love that there's so many
Yeah.
theories because until we eventually find out ourselves too, like that once we die, we try to prove our
Yeah.
colleagues or family members that hey,
Yeah.
shit, that shit was for real. It feels
Yeah.
great over here. They got weed on the other side.
Yeah.
No, yeah, again, it's just I hope that's a smooth sail. I hope there's nothing crazy. Like, of course we have our stories of hell and what
Yeah.
happens to us if you don't do right on earth here. But again, like my dad had his personal experience with the ghost when he was younger with his cousin. They're at the house. Their grandfather was dying, and they get a phone call from the hospital saying that he passed. And shortly after they hung up the phone, they heard where his workshop is in the basement, him banging away on the hammer and sawing away and shit. And the kids are screaming and crying, like, what the fuck, grandpa's down here fucking with us. So
Jeez, yeah.
they're really he likes to bring that story up once in a while. But again, that really had an impact on him and his cousin. The fact that it was like not just him hearing it, it was him and his cousin actually like,
Yeah.
clarifying that that shit was something down there. And again, you're
Yeah.
right. It makes you wonder if these spirits come back just because unfinished projects or unfinished business.
Yeah.
It seemed like he wanted to finish that project that he was doing in the basement. Like, man, I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck
Like, nope.
about
Getting this done.
getting it done. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it makes you wonder too if I'm going to be haunting my photographs that I have if I once I die. But no, yeah, it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder what's
Yeah.
next. But yeah, have you been to like some of the old parts of London? I've been some of the old parts of London, like where like Jack the Ripper used to hang out, or um any of those old cemeteries that have been around
Yeah.
for ever. Have you like
I'm
went checked any of those out?
I'm ashamed to say I haven't investigated
Oh,
anywhere in
oh,
London. Wait.
so you got a
No,
whole
so I've
summer.
I know. So I've been to the outskirts. So I've been to
Okay.
Wait, is it Essex? So Essex is technically London, I think, and Harwich Fort. So I've been to an old fort there. Like it's incredible, huge circular building. It's impenetrable. There's one way in and one like it's just like it's amazing. And there was, I think it was where they used to keep like prisoners of war and stuff. So you go into these rooms and they've got scratches and like people spelling their names and stuff, like, 1940 something, and it's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really cool. And that's, I, no, I think I lied then. I have seen an apparition because while I was stood in the center of this fort, you obviously at the top of the building, they have these railings that go around and then these big beams of light. And while I was sat in the middle, I saw a figure go past the beam of light and like,
Oh,
block the light out. And I look up and I said to a girl, Jenny, with me, I was like, did you see someone up there? And she's like, nobody's up there. And I was like, I saw a figure walk past and block the light out, and that was cool. But as far as yeah, I'd love to visit the Tower of London. I've heard but I think is it homes now? I think it's actually like residential. But yeah, London is must have hundreds of haunted buildings that I've yet to visit, but I want to one day.
that is so cool. I was thinking too just now, it was Sweeney Todd. you know.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
is, I think that's based off a true story. And is
Yeah.
there a Flint Street? Was it?
That
I forgot what street
that
that is.
sounds correct. Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Yeah. And that's just again how crazy. I love that story. And I
Yeah.
love that musical. It's great. Actually, I saw that
Yeah.
live. I saw it live here in
Really.
Madison. And it was amazing. They actually, so
Oh
the
wow.
actors were actually the orchestra. So the ones that weren't in the scene were playing instruments on the side, and everybody knew how to play all different instruments. And
Oh
how,
wow.
again, like you had to be so multi-talented to
Yeah.
play in this play. It was insane. I was like,
Yeah.
I was so blown away at how they were doing this.
Did they do
But
the
yeah,
whole trapdoor thing?
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was very cool. And I like how when they symbolize how they were dead, they had this like white coat with like this blood, just
Really?
covered full of blood. So they would be playing instruments, but everybody would be rotating instruments. It
Yeah.
was so gnarly. I was like, who the fuck are these people? They must be aliens here. These fucking people. No way. But yeah, again, like Sweeney Todd, uh again the elephant, I love John Merrick and the Elephant Man there, and that's being a true story, and then having its dark elements there and its times, and just again it's very dark. Even the witch hunts back then, I can only
Oh
imagine.
yeah.
Oh my god.
The Pendle witch trials.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like just have it and being a ghost and like easily be like fuck with somebody. It's like look at it, she just moved something over there. Cut her head off.
Yeah.
Spit it to the
Oh
burning
man.
stake.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, but again, I love Braveheart too. That's another.
Yeah.
I probably watched Braveheart in theater nine
I've
times.
never been to Scotland either.
Never. Oh my God.
It's so shameful because I've got like friends in America and they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to Florida for the weekend. It's only a 7 hour drive, and they go there for the weekend, and I'm there like a 2 hour drive somewhere is like a huge drive. But
I
I could get from the bottom of England to the top of England in, you know, 8 hours or something. And in
wow.
America, they're like still in the same state, you know, like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're bad. We're
That's
bad with
funny.
travel.
Is there a little beef between England and Scots? They do they not like each other much? They give you a bunch of shit.
Nobody likes British people.
I know it's like
Like,
even the Wales,
yeah,
people from Wales are like,
Wales
oh
are
like,
like, nah, we're separating. Scotland's
yeah,
like, nah, independence. Like
yeah.
nobody, like you go to Europe and yeah, the British people, they're like,
That
yeah,
sucks. I love the Brits.
we've got a
Yeah,
bad reputation.
I'm sorry, you guys got the bomb ass hip hop. You got the proper English, and you guys almost conquered the whole world.
Oh, I don't
So,
know.
yeah, there you go. You got the Queen. You got the
You got
Queen
the
there.
Queen. Oh no, the King now. We haven't got the Queen. She's
Oh, yeah,
dead.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
The
So that's right.
King.
The King. We got the King. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, fuck. I had a brain fart. But yeah. No, it's so cool. Um, have you traveled outside the UK? You say you really don't travel to Scotland, obviously, but
Yeah.
have you like got off the island at all? Have
So
you gone to
I
Europe?
did I did an investigation when I visited my friend in Georgia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You're in America.
And
That's right.
we went to Savannah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And
Tell me
because
about that.
Savannah is apparently really haunted and it's stunning. I loved Savannah. I loved the way the buildings were, it was gorgeous. And we actually went on a ghost hunt while we were down there. And it was a ghost tour. So this woman was, we were driving around the cities, the streets of Savannah, and she would be talking about all the history and this building is famous for this ghost. And we would just sit on this little bus, and then we went to while we were also there, we went to Bonaventure Cemetery.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Probably butchering how you say that, but yeah, Bonaventure. And that was really cool. And they had some beautiful like tombstones and everything. It was just stunning. Can't think of anywhere else in Europe or anywhere that I've investigated. We were planning on going to Germany and
Oh.
going to I think there was like Bran Castle.
Oh, cool.
So I think it was like linked to like uh Dracula and stuff, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had it all booked and everything, and then COVID happened, so we couldn't go. So we never got to do that, but that was a shame. Because yeah,
Dang. Just say my colleague Daniel lives in Germany, and he
yeah,
knows a lot. He used to go. He used to go to a lot of these haunted places and do his investigations and stuff because he dabbles into all the things cryptic and UFOs and stuff like that.
yeah,
Again, Germany is rich with tons of shit, especially with
yeah,
witches and stuff like that. They had their fair share of witch trials and shit,
yeah,
murdering all of these people. It's horrible. Um, so yeah, if you ever come back to the US, if you come visit me here in Wisconsin, Madison. There's one haunted
yeah.
bar that I like to tell people about, and there's ghost hunters with TV shows that come
Hmm.
to this place and investigate it. It's called the Ohio. It's off
Yeah.
Atwood on it's the east side of Madison. And it is awesome. They have awesome tacos there, by the way. I
Oh,
think it's Taco
nice.
Tuesday, say they have.
I
But
love Taco
but yeah, this
Tuesday.
place has a rich history of being haunted. There's I guess weird suicides from the 1920s to weird bizarre fires that happen there, and then there's at the bar there'd be like bottles being tossed off the shelves, and then there'd be
Wow.
like stools being flipped and stuff like that. So people go there just to see if they can catch a glance of something weird and mysterious happening
Yeah.
there. And I went there one time just to grab a beer. Nothing happened, but
No.
again, there was like they put like weird doll heads everywhere. I think they were trying to, you know,
Yeah.
provoke something to
Yeah.
come through and do something crazy. And people were standing around having a beer, eating tacos. But yeah, the Ohio people like to go there for the ghost hunting. I don't know any other places. Then we have like obviously we have the Dog Man here in Wisconsin, and there's
Yeah.
I think there's one graveyard where there's like headstones that said like this man was killed by werewolves and stuff like that. So it's
Oh,
like, oh damn.
really?
We have
Cool.
this place here. I could share pictures really quick. As I talk, we have this place called Ass to Land, and there's um the Dogman sighting in this area too. But it makes you wonder why. And this fact that this place is an ancient place. Um, the land pyramids here in Wisconsin, they're gigantic. I've been
Oh,
there multiple times. You can see how small the people are.
yeah.
And there's a step pyramid. But yeah, the Native Americans
Cool.
in the area said that these people came from afar, had dressed differently, and they had elongated skulls. Some of them did. And then they just like set up here and built shop and built two pyramids. There's the Pyramid of the Sun, and this is
Wow.
the Pyramid of the Moon. It's just a one stair pyramid. And they built this gigantic wall around their town or this little city they had with the
Yeah.
pyramids, and they waged war with other Indians. They practiced cannibalism, and then the most mysterious part about this was they this one day dropped everything and disappeared out of thin air. There was no sign of sickness or war. And then there's digs. UW
Yeah.
students come here and do their digs still, and they're still digging up pottery and skeletons and shit. And then they found like one princess that they worshipped. When she died, they one of the I don't know how many tribemen went out to the Atlantic Ocean just to grab seashells. Uh, but again, the Atlantic Ocean is thousands and thousands of miles away, so this is
Yeah.
like on foot or horseback. I don't know. But yeah, again, it's very mysterious. Where it came to be, but the fact that the Dogman sighting has been in that area too, it's
Yeah.
very mysterious. And
Oh, I love
who knows?
that.
Maybe they got all eaten by the Dogman.
Maybe.
That's how they all
Maybe.
went.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, you guys have tons of monoliths there too.
We do.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know too much about like, the history of them all and stuff, but yeah, we have some, fantastic
You think
sites.
spirits? You would think that spirits would be attracted to that for being so
Yeah.
ancient. Ancient spirits being this because they did. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
did tons of rituals and maybe
Yeah.
occultic stuff
Yeah.
too. Like
Well, actually, we thinking of it now, so when I was in my early 20s, me and my boyfriend moved to Avebury, which isn't that far from Stonehenge.
Oh, cool.
And we and there was quite a few sightings. There's like these like huge mounds,
Hmm.
which nobody really knew why they were there, kind of thing. And then there was like crop circles nearby. It had quite a spiritual feel to the area, and I went to a psychic fair one day that was happening in a nearby hotel. And this woman gave me a reading, and she was like, you've only recently moved to the area. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you're drawn to this area because of the spiritual connections and the connections to UFOs and
Whoa.
aliens and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, yeah. And then she gave me this whole thing like about like, she's like, you're an Arcturian. She was like, this is your first time as a human being on this planet. And I was like, okay. And yeah, and she was like saying how like drawn to the area I was because of its connections to UFOs and all that type of stuff.
Oh,
And then
shit.
the small cottage that we were living in, we actually were experiencing bits of paranormal activity. It was little things like you would be in bed at night and it would be like 2 o'clock in the morning and you would hear somebody running up the stairs and there was no one else in the house. And even though it was a cottage, so you had somebody living in this house and somebody living in this house, and it was connected, this house had nobody living there, so it was empty. And then this house had a little old lady it would take her a good few minutes to get up like her garden steps into her garden. So there was no way that she was running up and down the stairs, but we would hear footsteps quite loud. Then we would hear what would sound like pebbles in the ceilings, and it would sound as if somebody was just dropping pebbles on the ceiling from in the attic. Um, One time, you're in the shower kind of thing, and I heard footsteps come into the shower and into the bathroom, and I kind of popped my head out the curtain and nobody was there, and I'm like, cool. And then
Huh.
my boyfriend at the time started sleep talking. Never sleeps, like never talks in his sleep ever. And one night he sits up in bed and goes, "Get the fuck out," like that, and he's pointing at the bedroom door. And I'm just there like, what? And he's like, get huh. And then he kind of wakes up and he goes, oh, great, because there was somebody stood in the doorway, and he goes, and I said, get out. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And then the next night, the doorway unlatches itself and just opens up while we're in bed. So it
Oh,
was like, okay, is there someone in the doorway, And then yeah, there was little things like that, that would happen. So I think that, you do get areas in the UK which, for whatever reason, whether it's, what people like the ley lines, or whether it's by,
yeah.
sacred spaces and stuff, or whether it has the UFO connections. And there are a lot of places in the UK which are highly charged, that people are experiencing lots.
Oh. Do you
Mm.
have like, is there a lot of ghost hunter teams in the UK in general? I seen there's one group I'm actually trying to have on here. There's like a six girl group. They all wear
Yeah.
pink. They all wear pink. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I think I'm friends with quite a lot of them on Facebook actually. But
Okay.
yeah, no, they're really cool. But yeah, no, there's I think thousands. I think
Yeah.
I'd put a safe bet on there being like thousands of
Yeah.
paranormal groups.
Yeah. I was just saying, because your country is so rich with the paranormal. I think a little bit more than
Yeah.
the US. I think maybe
Yeah.
Native American uh has more spirits and stuff like that here than
Yeah.
than we have in modern day. But yeah, again, I harp back to like the serial killers, to the poorly deformed circus acts to
Mm,
like just and I love man, I love Clockwork Orange.
yes.
I'm a
Stanley
big fan of
Kubrick. Yeah.
that. Yeah. No, I just man, I love your guys' accent. There's just so much just cool shit out of the UK. And just everybody's mad jelly in the world
Yeah.
of the UK.
Oh.
It's like, damn, they got it going on.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We don't have the weather, that's for sure.
It's wet
Oh,
over there, huh?
it's disgusting. Like it's so cold over here. Like today has been nice, but today has been like, it's not even like I don't know the conversion because I know you guys say it in is it Fahrenheit or Celsius, but it's like 20 here. And I put my friends I put in Georgia Atlanta weather the other day just to see what my friend is experiencing, and it was like 34, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And we're on
Yeah,
like 20. Like it's just we're still wearing. I was still wearing like a jumper and like my coat the other day. Like, and it's
really.
June. Like what?
Damn.
I know. I know, but then you guys, you have extreme weather as well, you
Yeah,
you go to like Nevada or you go down to like New Mexico and it's like boiling, and then you go
yeah.
up to,
Wisconsin.
oh, is that north?
That's north, yeah.
Yeah.
We're at like borderline with Canada. Or
Are
the
you?
only it's like the the lake is like the border between us
Yeah.
and Canada there. But yeah, we're up there. We get like the heavy snow in wintertime. Actually, this winter was very, very mild. It
Was
was
it?
like we barely got any snow. And that was just really odd for Wisconsin because yeah, we have our harsh winters. And I think this shows that there is global warming happening here.
Yeah.
And I think Wisconsin's going to be the new Florida. So everybody in Florida is going to be coming here to Wisconsin to get the nice weather. And
Yeah.
we have this gigantic Lake Michigan, that looks like a giant ocean,
Yeah.
obviously from the side there. So yeah,
Wow.
who knows? Who we might get some more people up here wanna live up here more. And again, I think yeah, Florida is going to be underwater soon. Places always getting hit with
Oh yeah.
hurricanes and like swamps and
Mm,
alligators and shit.
alligators.
What? Yeah, fuck all that.
Yeah. I keep seeing videos of like people getting like killed by alligators, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then what is yeah, it was like when an old woman was walking her dog
The
and she gets
dog, yeah,
dragged.
I saw that.
God,
Ugh.
Jesus. And having
Yeah.
to witness that, oh hell no.
Mm, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nope, 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 nope. And yeah, there's been a lot of shark attacks too. It's
Have there?
like it seems like everybody's yeah, it seems like they're ringing the ding of the bell there. Like everybody's
Mm,
it's time to go at the humans now.
oh no.
They're fucking up the
Some
planet enough. Let's eat them.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, if the animals start turning on us, we're
Yeah,
screwed.
right. It's gonna be like the
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
Have
Mm.
you watched the new Planet of the Apes? That one's really good.
I don't think I have. I think the last one I watched was the Mark Wahlberg one. Is that
Oh,
not
that's
like
really old.
oh yeah?
I'm talking
I
about
know
the
that's
new
the
ones.
that's the no, I haven't, no.
Okay, this one's like these newer ones are like the prequels, like how it all started.
Oh really? Oh, that'd be
How like
interesting.
yeah, no, it's really. I think who was the first one? That one. I forgot the actor. Anyways.
I remember watching like I remember watching Planet of the Apes when it was on TV, like the TV
Oh
show
yeah,
back in
and
like
like
the late 90s or mid 90s or something. That was like,
yeah,
old school.
remember like Stanley Kubrick's movie like 2001, I think it's called Space Odyssey,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
where that's like, right in the beginning where that monolith just shows up right in front of those uh um it's like early cavemen. They're like, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah, and then like it's kind of go through time and space and the fact that like the future they were traveling the stars and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
too far fetched for ancient astronauts to be doing the same thing when they're
yeah.
billions of years older than us, traveling the stars, probing us, and or probing the with their AI.
So
Yeah.
what do you think aliens are?
Well, I think they've been here since the dawn of time.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I think there's been a traveling race, going through the stars, planting their own seeds terraforming their own planets. Yeah, I feel like they're humans like us. They're just doing the
Yeah.
same thing, Or we might be the ETs that crash landed here on Earth,
Yeah.
that had like start from scratch because we went and had civil wars with each other because we crash landed on who crash landed in this motherfucker, like,
Yeah.
and then kind of like start from scratch. That's why like I love Russia calls themselves cosmonauts because they believe that they're returning to the stars. So it's even more beautiful and
Yeah.
poetic in a sense.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, we're this lost race trying to go back home,
Hmm.
because yeah, we don't really belong here. We're like the only species of human that have to put on sunscreen. And are we really evolving if we lost all our hair, to battle the
Yeah.
elements? And you think we have more things here on Earth that all the animals here, and there's even like evidence of um panspermia, where like asteroids are landing or been landing on Earth, creating creatures like the octopus, and then there's
Oh.
like the eels. A
The
lot of people
eel.
don't
I
know
was
where,
gonna say I read online the other day about nobody knows where eels came from.
yeah, I
They're
don't
just
know where the
like
fuck where the eels come from, or where their
yeah.
mating ground is, or where the fuck. Yeah, and there's a lot of mysterious shit in the ocean. Are you kidding me? Like down
Mm,
in the deep, it looks like it was like a alien breeding ground for experiments. Like,
yeah.
let's see what weird fucking thing we can make, and you know. Uh, and then yeah, the bottom of the ocean is like perfect spots for alien bases to be
Mm,
practicing this human zoo that they have here, or they could be a hollow Earth too, where it's like
mm,
there is another prehistoric life inside of Earth, and there's this one star inside of it, and there's this because there's I don't know you get if you got into much of the hollow Earth and
no, I
Animal
haven't.
Bird in his journal talking about when he was going over the North Pole, sawing in this humongous hole entrance, and he got closer and he saw there was like green grass and trees and mammoths walking around. He was like, "What?" And he gets zapped by this UFO that like comes out of it, and then it drags his plane down, and he interacts with these human like ETs. They're just saying, "Hey, we don't appreciate you dropping bombs, making it's
Yeah.
corrupting our world, and the fucking tell whoever up there stop doing that shit.
Yeah.
We're start doing some shit." Anyways, he brought that back to the government. The government's like, all right, we'll keep this shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why he came up with this journal on his deathbed, telling the truth of it, like what he
Nice.
experienced and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. And another interesting fact too,
Oh,
he talked about these flying saucers had swastika symbols on them. So it's like, huh. And the Nazis
really?
make their way down there, because I know Hitler was a hollow earth theorist, and they were
Yeah.
having his men scour the earth for all these relics, like the Ark of the Covenant to the Holy Grail to
Yeah.
the entrance to the hollow earth. They even made like a base down in the South Pole called New Swabia, trying to
Yeah.
persuade other Germans to move their ass down there. But like, man, it's fucking cold. That's like, who wants to live in a fucking ice box? uh, yeah, I don't know. So it's very mysterious why the Nazis were so intrigued about the South Pole, and then maybe retrieving crashed UFOs and reverse engineering. That's why the
Hmm.
Nazis were so ahead of us in technology.
Hmm.
Warner Van Braun, he talks about, stuff, secrets. Yeah, again, it's very, very mysterious. And the fact we have Operation Paperclip after the war, we took all their fucking Nazi scientists and say, you're going to start working for NASA and start working for the US. Fucking,
Yeah.
we're going to wash you of all your crimes after you're dropping bombs on you guys. You guys are
Yeah.
you guys were the victims of Warner Van Braun's V2K or V rockets, or what the hell he was making there. And
Yeah.
then you guys at the time too, man. Oh man, talk about hats off to you for your ancestors for taking on the bombs of the Nazis there. Like I remember I had a elementary or no middle school teacher from the UK, and she was talking. She was old enough where she was younger during the World War II, and talking about like yeah she had like wear gas masks and
Yeah.
practice like drills all the time, and like
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't
gnarly
imagine.
shit.
Mm.
And she talked about this other time too. It was a little off subject, but when she went to go, she went to the zoo, and I don't know, it was a British zoo or some shit. They had these elephants. They're in these tight ass cages, and they had these the trunks would come out when you like touch the trunks and stuff. I guess one kid got too close, and the kid got thrown in. This, the elephant grabbed him by the trunk and threw him in the cage and stomped him to death. But it's like one of those cages where it's so tiny.
Yeah,
Where I think the psychological mind of this elephant
yeah,
was just going nuts. Where it's like anything is gonna grab is gonna kill it in that fucking
yeah.
cage.
Yeah, we have it's shut down now, but we used to have Bristol Zoo, which is so I'm from Bristol in the UK. And yeah, it was sad. You would go there and there would just be this huge lion in this tiny enclosure. Every time I went, he would just be walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's all he would do. And then every now and then he would just let out a massive roar, and then everyone would be like, ah! Like, and I'm just there like, he's clearly very depressed, like, and it was just so that the zoo isn't open anymore.
Sure.
But no, I don't know. It's just I would love to go to like a proper like Kenyan safari and see the animals like in their
Yeah.
natural habitat. I think that would be amazing.
And I think another dark part of the UK history, I think you guys had the human zoo.
Did we? Did we?
The you remember the human zoo? You ever heard of the human
No.
zoos? Oh, you should
No.
look this up in the UK. There's a little dark history there. So
Oh.
it's just these people who are scoured the earth for different cultures around the world
Mm.
and kind of persuade them to come. Hey, how many come live with us? We'll feed you for free. You have a place to stay, and just you could keep practicing what you guys do. But again, they just were just being
Mm.
exposed, uh, because they were different skin color and
Yeah.
different. But again, they lived in these little it looked like a little village, but they're all patched out all around like the zoo, like how a zoo would be. But again, it would just be like being observed by others, like just in culture shock, be like, whoa, we have these people around the world, but like,
Yeah.
so again, it's just very sad and it's crazy that these people agreed to leave their homeland to go
Yeah.
being. Again, maybe they were lied to too at the same time. Like,
Mm.
yeah, you're gonna be treated like kings or what the hell,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, no, yeah, we're gonna expose you and laugh at you for your color,
Yeah.
looking different and skin
That
color. But
sounds
yeah,
like something that British people would do. Yeah, I
yeah.
believe.
And
We don't have the
the
best
the U
history.
the UK wasn't the only ones. I think the French and the Germans were doing the human zoos too. So it's
Wow.
just really interesting. It's back in the 1920s, 1910,
Was it?
way
Oh,
back.
okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to look into that.
yeah. It's old. You can't be
Yeah.
finding that shit nowadays. You crazy? You'll have wars happening.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, yeah, it's not as like North Korea. My God, the enslavements
Yeah.
and concentration camps they have there. Oh my God,
Wow.
all the stories I've heard.
Mm.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
But again, if you're starving your people, they're not going to uprise against you. You know,
Yeah.
they have the energy
Mm.
to,
No.
they have the
Yeah.
energy to fucking fight. Oh, but yeah. Well, yeah. Well, when we stop it for today and we'll have you back again. Is there any like place that people could find you? Like, is there a YouTube channel or a
Uh,
website or
no, I don't have a
Facebook?
YouTube channel or I don't have a website. I am just on Facebook as Ghostess Leanne or um, Instagram, Ghostess with the Mostess, and on Twitter, again, Ghostess Leanne. So yeah, I haven't got to the levels of needing a YouTube channel, but maybe one day, or a website. So
I
no.
think you should. I think you got some potential there. No, again, I think you're very likable and you have some really cool stories. And the fact that you work with a team too, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll have you back with your team if they would like to jump on and maybe promote themselves too. Because I
Yeah.
think it's just a good way of networking. I don't know if
Yeah.
there's are you finding a lot of like cesspool in the community of the
Oh,
paranormal? Is there a lot of like butting
yeah.
of heads? And that's what like Luna was expressing to us. That's one reason why she's working with us now, kind of like
Yeah.
backing off that kind of crowd because it's just too toxic and
It
it's
is.
just too much. Is it
It is.
in the
It is.
UK? Is the same thing?
Yeah. But a lot of it is fueled by ego.
Hmm.
Everyone wants to be the biggest person in the paranormal. They want to get on TV. They want to be famous. They want to do that, and it's hard to you know, figure out who's genuine and who's not because, like I guess like all walks of life, people want to take advantage. If they think that you've got something that they want, they'll use you, and then as soon as you don't have what they want, they'll drop you. It's I get it's I don't think it's exclusive to the paranormal. It's in every walk of life, every environment, whether it's music, design, whatever. I'm sure it's like it in the UFO. People want to
Hmm.
be the one with the all the information. And that's to me, it's laughable because nobody has all the answers to the paranormal. So to say that, oh, I'm this big skeptic and it's this, and this, it's like that's great, that's fantastic, but you know,
Sure,
it's yeah, it's an yeah, toxic's probably the right word. But not
sure.
everyone's like that. Like I've
No,
met some amazing people, and there are some lovely people that are genuinely kind and want to help.
right.
But
And I think you're very humble. And I think that again, you're very interesting. And I think a lot of people live vicariously through you that you're getting into the subject just by yourself independently. You know what I'm saying? Like again, you're not trying to make a name for you. And the fact that I found you, and I thought you were very intriguing. And I was like, this girl from the UK doing a
yeah.
thing over here, checking out the old places, all the ghosts. But yeah, no, that's why I reached out to you. I'm so glad that you wanted to join me
Yeah, no,
today. And
no.
I think again, I think you'd be great for future talks with other paranormal investigators and people who are just in the same field. Because
Yeah,
again, it's fun to network. It's fun to people finding people who are just not had big egos
yeah.
and then like to work
And
together and like to
yeah,
promote each other. It's like
yeah,
why don't we just work together? And I feel like a lot of people kind of feed off each other's fan base already. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll just make it more
but I
apparent.
love I
Yeah,
love chat I love chatting to people in the paranormal and just sitting and discussing topics and
sure.
bouncing ideas off and like you can chat with someone and go, oh, I never thought of it like that. Okay, that's cool.
Yes,
That's a new
yes.
way of thinking because I'm never ever ever going to sit here and be like, I have all the answers because I don't.
No.
I have ideas. I think it could possibly be this, but for now, I'm in the paranormal because I love it. I find the topic
Yes.
fascinating, and you were saying earlier, is that it is all connected. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily believe the paranormal and ghosts and stuff are completely separate to UFOs. I don't think UFOs are completely separate to cryptids. I think it is all connected, but
Yes.
I think the discussions about it is the best part. It's fun to have these and listening to people's stories,
Yes.
hearing people's experiences. Almost everyone has had some sort of paranormal experience.
Yes. No, I totally
Mm,
agree. And then like yeah, that's one reason why we got my like you and me got into the subject because there's something about it that gives us this drive. Not that
mm,
anybody else is telling us to do it, just
yeah,
there's something here and we want to try to figure it out because life is outside of this field is very
mm,
complicated. there's
yeah,
there's with politics and wars
yeah,
that are just popping up now in this like no, it's got to be more to life than this craziness that I have to live every damn day, like going to work
yeah,
and fucking dealing with all these other crazy people in the world. It's like no, there's more.
yeah,
And then I love finding people who are on the same path of finding these
yeah,
answers. I'm not saying like we're gonna find them, but the fact it's so fun trying to find it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's the drive of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it doesn't need, I don't need all the answers. I just want
No.
to keep asking these questions, meeting the people that might have these answers or
Yeah.
theories. These are all theories.
Yeah.
And it's just so,
Yeah.
and I think it's fun to be open minded. You know, I
Yeah.
just again, just having these really awesome conversations and being an adult and having these
Yeah.
conversations is another like
Yeah.
awesome part of like life too. Like you just think kids we just be talking about this shit, but no, I'm taking this as an
Yeah.
adult and being serious with it because I
Yeah.
had my own personal experience. You had your own personal
Yeah.
experience. We're meeting all these cool people who are in the field having
Mm.
experiences. There's something there. There's something
Yeah.
here. And we're all
Yeah.
just trying to figure it out. And I love just talking to people
Yeah.
from all around the world. Just
Yeah.
like from the UK to Australia, from Japan. We had every,
Yeah.
man, I've all
Well,
cool.
it just shows that paranormal experiences aren't, a part of a specific culture. It
No,
spans all around the world. And that's
all
another thing
around.
as well, is that like a lot of paranormal TV focuses on the very westernized view of spirits and ghosts. But you just have to have like Japanese culture, Eastern European culture, and their, you know, relationships with spirits and ghosts and their superstitions and stuff. I just think that there's so much more than just focusing on your little bubble in, the
Yep.
USA or the UK.
Yep. Yep. I totally agree. Because yeah, Europe is a lot older than
Mm.
the United States when it comes to white people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so cool. No, I'm very excited to have you on for future shows.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna just end it here. I'm gonna you
Yeah.
stick with me for 2 more minutes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.